Hey, hi guys. In this session, we are going to continue the manual testing part 2, where we are going to cover black box testing, white box testing, gray box testing, and we are going to cover traceability matrix as well. Let's start with black box testing. Black box testing is done by manual tester and it is also known as functional testing. Functional testing means the testing which we perform like regression testing, sanity testing, and all kind of testing, all level of testing like component testing, system integration testing, UAT testing, right? So all kind of testing it includes. That is known as functional testing, or you can say black box testing. For black box testing, coding is not required to do black box testing. A person who doesn't know about the coding, they also can do the black box testing. For white box testing, coding is required and it is done by developer usually, but tester also can do if they know coding. Coding knowledge is necessarily required for white box testing, and it is also known as structural testing. Gray box testing is a combination of black box and white box testing. For gray box testing, you should have knowledge of coding as well, because if you have a knowledge of coding, then you can do gray box testing as well. Because gray box testing is a combination of black box and white box. Now we'll see what is traceability matrix. Traceability matrix is one of the important topic for interview and as well as for your testing. Traceability matrix is a table type document that is used in development and testing of software application to trace the requirement. Traceability matrix document contains everything like your business requirement, your functional requirement, your test cases, whatever the test cases you have written to cover the functionality, and defects which we find while testing. It is also known as requirement traceability matrix, that is also called RTM or cross reference matrix, CRM. With the help of the RTM document, RTM is requirement traceability matrix document, we can display the complete test execution and defect status based on requirement. It is used to show the missing requirements in documents. In this, we can ensure the complete test coverage, which means all the modules are tested. Like how we can ensure whether we are covering all the requirement or not. So, with the help of traceability matrix, we can ensure the coverage of the requirement. The reason traceability matrix is most important role in the testing. As I told you, traceability matrix is a table type document, right? Let me show you. See, this is a table. You can consider this is a traceability matrix requirement, right? Requirement traceability matrix. It contains multiple things like business requirement, functional requirement, test cases, or you can say test document, and defects also it contains. Now you might have a question, what is business requirement? Business requirement means what needs to be done, what is the goal, and why it is important. So, business requirement means what needs to be done. Means, suppose it can give you the component name, like, or functionality name it can give. That is called business requirement. Business requirement means what you need to test and why you need to test, why it is important, right? These two things it describes, right? So, what you need to test means in this, we are going to test, suppose, product listing. Product listing is a component name, or you can say functionality name, right? That means we need to test product listing. Another one is payment module. So these are important things which we need to test, right? You can say business requirement. So I can say business requirement 1, business requirement 2. We have two business requirement you can consider. So business requirement defines what needs to be done and why it is important, right? Now functional requirement. Functional requirement defines how system or person to behave in order to achieve the goals, how you need to test, how you need to behave, right? It defines the functionality, how you need to proceed step by step. that defines functional requirement. So in this document, you can say product listing and payment. These are two components which you need to test. And this is a functional requirement, like what functionality you need to test. Functionality like sort by, filters by credit cards. This is a dummy, right? Just I'm giving one example, right? So this is a functional requirement. Now you understood, right? What is business requirement and what is functional requirement. Business requirement means what you need to test and why it is important. And functional requirement means how it is going to behave. And this is a test case document. Test case document, it could be positive and negative scenarios which you have written to cover the functionality, right? So this is a requirement, test cases, test scenarios, you can say. And it also contains defects. While testing, if you found any defect, right? Whatever the defect you found, it contains those defects as well. You can create one another column and there you can write your defects as well. You can say here, we have maintained the defect as well, defect reports, defect fixed, right? Testing started, everything. It contains all the documents, right? Like your business requirement, your functional requirement. It could be maybe one document or multiple document in the requirement, right? It contains all the requirement and your test cases which you have maintained and your defects, right? That is called traceability matrix. So if suppose in absence of you, if any other person has joined your team, they can read the document, they can go through this requirement and your test and your test scenarios which you have created, and they can go through the defects. So while going through these defects, they can cover each and every functionality while testing and while development as well, right? So this is called traceability matrix. Means we can trace each and everything, requirement, test cases, and your defects, so that we can cover each and every requirement, so that we don't miss anything. So it is a full coverage of your requirement. That is called traceability matrix. And this is most important interview question. This is all for this session. Next, we will cover other topics. Thanks for watching this video.